Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Jurassic World. I keep saying Jurassic World, it's Lego Jurassic World. Let's continue the story. We're actually playing Jurassic Park right now, so it might as well just be called Lego Jurassic Park. It's amazing. It does no preloading apparently between each level because I'd been sitting on that continue story spot for like 20 minutes and thus a well-programmed game would have automatically loaded the next level, and it would have immediately gone into it as soon as I hit the button. This one had a delay. So we're with the kids. I bet Timmy here has the ability to crawl. Really? Interesting. Small characters such as this can use access hatches to use the area. And oh wait, that's not Timmy. Obviously. This is Timmy. Hmm. Apparently the story is also taking place in two parts because it's telling me I can move over if I hold down the Y button. That's what it means in the top right there. I can move over to the other section with the grandfather. A Jurassic Park prequel has a chance of working if he did something like really interesting. I just don't know exactly how. Let's see. Because it kind of skips over just the whole setup of this. Even though the Jurassic Park does take place as they were setting up uh, the park, it's 90% done. The construction is done. The funding is done. Uh, some of that might have been better if it was explained. It's like the conversations, the thought patterns. And I imagine in the Jurassic Park books, I believe it's a Michael Crichton book. I could be wrong about that. Who did several good stories that got turned into movies by Steven Spielberg and others. Uh, I imagine in the books they do go into more of that backstory. For a movie, though, it probably would be a little bit too much conversation and not enough action. What I would do as an amateur story writer or storyteller, perhaps is a better term because I don't really write it down ever. But what I would do is I would have him, the grandfather, running at his, like, creating a dinosaur, a single dinosaur, on in a tiny little lab in the middle of, like, New York City or some other pretty urban environment, and and I wouldn't want to do something like Baby's Day Out or where the dinosaur gets lost, or maybe Curious George would be a good example. I wouldn't want to do something like that, but I would maybe slightly touch on that thought without going too crazy with it. A dinosaur running around the regular world before it was announced that they had dinosaurs, which is even they still really haven't announced that they have dinosaurs by the time we do the watch the first movie. Uh, it I don't know what you could do though. There's so many cliche movies you could do, and I don't know what original movie you could do there. At the end of the story, of course, it would have to somewhat succeed, or you wouldn't decide to go forward with it. It would almost become this heavily science fiction based film with way too much talking and discussions of morals and ethics of doing such a thing. And I don't think you can get around it. I think when you just get down to the core of it, it is morally unethical to bring dinosaurs back. Just for, particularly if you're just making an amusement park out of it. That seems ridiculous. That's why in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, they at least found some wiggle room around it and had it as a sort of evil corporation bringing the dinosaurs and genetically engineering them. And then they were saying, well, it's also a preserve, and it helps like medical research and things. So that they're really laying it on thick. Oh, these kids, they just magically are teleporting to where I am. So that seems strange, but the kids are just teleporting. But we are in the overworld right now too, so I guess it's not too offensive that that's the case, since in the overworld you never know what characters you're gonna have. Let's see. Let's go ahead and dig here. If I could find another score multiplier, that would be great. We already found score times 8, so if I could find like score times 2 is ideally the first one I want to get. Nobody has a flashlight. Does he have a flashlight? Yes, he does. Well, he doesn't have a flashlight per se, but he has the goggles that he pretty much just picks up. Some might say steals from the visitor center. So we'll probably do something with those infrared goggles at some point. I'm cutting this cactus down. This is a gameplay mechanic that hasn't been in LEGO games before, cutting down a cactus things. They could certainly add that to other games.
Want to learn something new? Take a look down there.
Notice it's taking a load screen to get to the load screen. Then I have to sit at the load screen and then get to the cutscene.
Just a mile over that rise there. Just
mile.
Keep.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are those meat-eating metosauruses?
Really uniform direction changes, just like a flock of birds evading a predator.
They're flocking this way.
So what's kind of weird here is the last level ended in a race, and this level we're starting in a race. And this time it's different. I do have hearts, although it doesn't seem like I'm losing them anyways. They made the game super easy for little kids, that's fine. Of course, it breaks all the drama the second you realize you can't die. I'm stumbling on everything intentionally. Trying to hit all the signs. Jump. So that would be, what, species number 4? Because we've seen the T-Rex, the Triceratops, the Spitters, and now this guy.
Look how it eats.
They said there was 15 species on the island.
I want to go now.
Okay.
Follow me.
Honestly, when you
Something
get
went wrong.
right down to it,
I'm gonna go get the power
the
back on.
atmosphere would not be suitable for any dinosaurs. There was way more methane and I believe carbon
I think I can follow
gas in
this
the
and
air. I
then
could be
talk you
totally
through
wrong
it.
about both those gases, but I know it wasn't the oxygen-rich environment we're in now. So even if you did make a T-Rex, it would probably just suffocate to death and die. You don't magically gain the ability to
Come on, this
handle
way.
different atmospheres, even if you were born in it, even if you were genetically cloned in it.
Mr. Arnold? Mr. Arnold?
Of course, you could do robots.
Mr. Arnold? Mr. Arnold?
Maybe that's why you could do a prequel to Jurassic Park, is just have robot
After 20,
T-Rexes.
30 feet, you come to a T-junction. Just never follow the main cable. I understand how to read a schematic.
Of course, that doesn't really... That's not a dinosaur tail if you're doing robot dinosaurs. That's a robot dinosaur tail. We see scratches here all over. Here's where we can save and continue. You can only save and continue once. Why? I don't know. Probably just to save, like, people from doing silly things. We get some more amber. What's down here? I would need... Maybe this guy can open the door? Nope, I need somebody else. Some character needs to be introduced. Probably in Jurassic World. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a character in the Jurassic Park tale and a character in the Jurassic World tale that overlap in the Jurassic World is a little bit better. We need a key, so we are going to do cranks and keys in this game, but not terribly often.
Wait a minute.
Switch to this guy and pick up these goggles. And instead of using the goggles, track with them. And pick up the key. So I imagine this whole section is going to be relatively long. If the first part was just that race. They're kind of stuck following the movie section, which has more action than what the video game could.
Okay, following the piping.
I would say that is the one thing that the Telltale Jurassic Park game did that was probably wiser, is instead of retelling the story. Ooh, apparently I could have shot that. I didn't see the target. They told an entirely new story. But that being said, they told a really bad, entirely new story. That kind of about what happens after the fact of the Jurassic Park in a very weird way. It could have been a good story. It just needed a good writer to write all 5 episodes of the game, and that's simply... That's not how Telltale like to work. I think they may have decided to work more like that lately, but I'm not certain. We need the other lady, I think. As is typical for a Lego game, the other character will get stuck in places and they may be infinitely dying over and over again for all you know. Alright, so one has to hold it while the other crosses. Little cooperation thing here. I still think that LEGO needs to abandon the two character on screen model. It would probably help their engine run smoother. It makes telling stories smoother. It's a very kid thing. Another game I just covered was Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, and it had that.
Ahead of you is a metal staircase. Go down it.
Like I have a choice. But it's a very kid thing to always have like a partner next to you holding your hand, never letting the player be alone. But when telling a story, it's almost always the opposite. And it kind of makes sense with LEGO games because every character usually has a couple of abilities that the other character doesn't. But only in the idea of having a bunch of minifigs, which they totally try to push as a thing. I'd be alright with having just 10 or 12 minifig characters and that it. Or playing as the same minifig character throughout the entire game of a LEGO game. And really getting to love and like that character. That's, I guess when I play the LEGO movie, that's going to be an interesting thought. I assume the LEGO, the movie, the video game, will probably turn into just every story level having the main character, I forget his name, and Wild Style, which hard to forget her name. I see that target. I think his name's Emmett. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's his name.
I see the box. It says high voltage.
Be careful around it then. It's very interesting to think about how this may be the second to last LEGO game ever made that's in a standalone LEGO game. We have LEGO Dimensions. Year 2 is about to start. I've heard there's going to be some changes to it, so it may not be as focused on forcing people to buy many little minifigs and expansion packs. And if that is the case, that they may just start integrating all these games into LEGO Dimensions.
You've got to pump up the primer handle in order to get the charge.
And that would be alright if they kind of get away from the gimmicks that didn't really work in LEGO Dimensions and they made a PC version of it. That's the worst part, is I may never play LEGO Dimensions simply because they didn't make a PC version of it. But it also very easily could be that they just abandon it. I can't believe there's a mini game here. We've done that same code input 5 times, and now the other kind of input is exactly what I was looking for. It was something like this.
Okay, charged.
That is frustrating that in the game they had what I wanted and didn't give it to me.
Oh, Mr. Arnold.
Oh, was Mr. Arnold paralyzed there? Did they just leave him to die? I think they did. Oops.
We can make it if we run.
No, we can't.
Why not?
Because we're being hunted.
I think they just left that guy paralyzed by the spitter acid. I don't know. That's gruesome and grotesque for a kid's game. I guess that that is a point to make here is all these Lego games cover games that are movies that are like PG-13 or PG, and they're not G-rated games certainly. Where the game may be G-rated, but the movie isn't G-rated, and that gets into some weirdness. It is still entirely possible that you would get a Lego game for a kid, like the Lego Indiana Jones game, for example, is a good one, and then the kid really loving Lego Indiana Jones, and then you have to tell him, no, I'm not gonna let you watch Temple of Doom, it's too scary. Or it doesn't ever get too crazy, though. They don't make Lego games off hard R movies or anything like that. That would be silly. And sadly, that's kind of the problem with the video game industry in general, is there really is no entry level for super young kids. In fact, for a lot of things, there's no entry level for super young kids. The assumption is that kids from age of birth to about 8 years old are just assumed to watch cartoons and do nothing else, and there's no real movies or video games that are super targeted to that. And those numbers are a little fuzzy, I'll fully admit, but they kind of, when they make kids movies, they still have that 8-year-old to 12-year-old target audience. I guess I have to tap A here to punch the guy. Now I have to tap B. What's interesting here is nobody just cowers in fear of the dinosaurs. I guess that's a good thing. The cowering in fear of things like spiders and such is very common in Lego games, but if somebody just cowered in fear of the dinosaurs, then they would probably not be a good fit for the entire game. They'd always be in fear. So yeah, but to get back to my previous conversation is, yeah, when there really is no marketing done for really young kids, besides a infinitely small number of like baby first TV and such, it's no surprise that parents often end up taking their kids into PG movies when they should only be in G movies. It just starts that whole process down that way. Interesting egg colors there. I suppose I could potentially die here. I don't have any desire to really see that. So I could see myself getting attacked one more time because we're doing the whole Nintendo do it 3 times even though you've proven you know what to do the first time thing. But after I get attacked the 3rd time, that we're gonna be really, really close to the end of this level. Like I thought, it was rather short. Rather long experience in the second group and a short experience for the first group. They probably, if they could break away from the movie a little bit better, they probably should have done half of the scene with this group, then moved over to the previous scene with the running from the ostrich-like creatures, and then come back and done some more of this scene, just to break things up. X now. Now A. Let's go ahead and grab a rock and start throwing rocks in here, I guess. I've seen this scene before. I think in LEGO Dimensions there is a Jurassic Park section that's very similar to this. Because I couldn't have possibly... Maybe I watched somebody else play this game. He tricked me. Tricked me that time. Or maybe I just got lucky the first 2 times. We got the girl screaming. Is there some strategy I'm supposed to be employing here? Or is it simply you just try? Oh, there is a strategy here, isn't it? I got really lucky the first time, and it took the 3rd time to realize that there was rustling going on. And remember, he shoots tranquilizer darts, so he's not even hurting them.
Clever girl.
And so it shows the Velociraptor eating the sausage instead of the other Velociraptor eating the guy. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of gruesomeness in Jurassic Park, come to think of it. For sort of a half kids movie, half sci-fi story, it's a little gruesome. What characters did we unlock? Timmy and Henry Wu from Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park Veterinarian, Jurassic Park Warden. Gee, it almost feels like I might be somewhere close to ending the Jurassic Park story, which wouldn't be surprising considering all that's going on there. Feels like we're close to the end of the story. So does that mean there will be Jurassic Park 2? Are they going to cover Jurassic Park 2 and Jurassic Park 3? Because I think at a point in Jurassic Park 3 the T-Rex is running around New York. So that would be odd. I guess all we can do is move forward and find out. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.